Hello and welcome to Pedz Game Shack. This is episode 26, and today we have two guests with us. We have Cumberdanes. Say hello, Cumberdanes.
I did. I said howdy.
I didn't hear you. And we have Jenuall.
Hello.
How are you guys? You both doing well?
I can't complain.
Yeah, all good.
Except for the flower. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long story.
Basically, he planted a flower and it died. Very upset.
Speaking of which, did you see that thing, how the National Trust, like where someone planted a new tree to replace that one that got chopped down?
Oh, no. What
and the National Trust have dug it up.
Yeah.
And they said, because it's dangerous, it'll damage the site or whatever.
It's a UNESCO site or something, so nothing could be done to it.
That's insanity.
The whole thing's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like, it's who cut this tree down in the first place? Like,
It's
why would you
it's something about a dodgy campsite.
It
Like
always is.
the guy who was leasing the land, the lease was up, and it's kind of like a final act of vengeance. He's paid some kid off to cut the tree down, apparently.
Well, I know it wasn't me.
We've all got alibis. It's fine.
Exactly. I was in Wales at the time, and this was nowhere near Wales. I'll have you know.
If anything, I'm the nearest.
There you are, a couple of days later. The truth shall set you free. Yeah. I was going to say the truth is out there, but, it's not really extraterrestrial. You know what I mean.
I don't know. That's probably it'd be a more interesting storyline than most of the revival X-Files series.
I didn't actually watch the revival stuff. I was happy to just leave it where it was because, I thought X-Files kind of went a bit shit. The last couple of seasons. I enjoyed the final episode. I think it was the final two episodes, and that'll do. It ended on a
You made a sensible choice.
The only episode of X-Files I've ever seen had a plot similar to Jeepers Creepers. It was some weird creature that nested underground and came out every 100 years to feed, and they had to catch it while it was feeding before it went back to sleep again. It was some weird bloke in a nest. Weird.
Yeah, I think that's from the first series. That's
the only episode I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's some good stuff though.
Yeah, it's a good show overall.
Yeah, I agree. Except for the later seasons, they're not very good, in my opinion. And my opinion is what matters to me. Anyway, we'll get back on topic, which we haven't actually said what the topic is. For those who are new, we tend to do 3 segments, which is currently playing, top news, and we play together. Technically speaking, we didn't actually pick a game to play. We just played a game recently and decided we'd discuss it. But we're not really... This is what happens when you're really tired, guys. You just speak shit to make stupid noises. Anyway.
We can do that for an hour.
Yeah, that might be more entertaining than normal. People are like, oh my god, this guy's great. I don't know what that accent was either. Don't send me nasty emails. We are going to be talking about Starfield mainly, but I would like to know, just fairly briefly, what you've been playing, guys. I'll start with Jenuall, because Jenuall haven't been here for a long time, whereas Cumberdanes has been here more recently. What have you been playing recently, dude?
Yeah, no worries. I was trying to think last time I did chat to you on one of your podcasts. I think it was when I was playing Xenoblade 3. So that was probably the best part of a year ago now. I said then I've got into a bad habit of starting but not finishing games, and I'm still in that bad habit. So I've been dipping in and out of lots of different things. So I've still got Tears of the Kingdom sat there unfinished. I've done over 100 hours, but I've not finished it. I will go back to it, but
Yeah, I'm the same
Not-
with Tears of the Kingdom. I play when I'm streaming, and as I haven't been able to stream as much, I haven't played it. So it's been just like there's been times where I've played it for a week, fine enough, a couple of hours a day streaming it, and then I can't do anything for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it doesn't get played, and then I go back to it, and I'm like, let's do some stuff, and then all of a sudden another week happens where I can't get to it. Whereas you were just lazy, so.
yeah, basically. Yeah. It's one of those you put it. It's so big, and it's almost intimidating to go back to now. I loved it. I thought it nailed on for my game of the year personally. It kind of fixed everything I thought needed fixing about Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I'll finish that before the end of the year, I think. Otherwise, Starfield, obviously, been playing that, and just in the last week got back into Cyberpunk with the new update that's come out for that, and I've been kind of really enjoying that again. Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. How are you finding Starfield? Are you finding Cyberpunk with the 2.0 update? Has it made big improvements or just tweaked things that needed tweaking?
So the big change really is the whole perk system has been completely redone. So kind of everything that was there, and I thought that was definitely one of the weaknesses of the game originally, was that I played it for about 100 hours, kind of on or shortly after release, and I didn't upgrade hardly anything because I kept looking at the perk tree, and it was like, well, none of these things are interesting. None of these things sound like they will make my game feel different or play different. So why would I bother unlocking them? Whereas now you can kind of look. They've sort of simplified it. There's fewer paths to go down in the perk tree, but they sound more interesting, and it's like, right, I can see how if I put points into this system, it will change the way I approach things, and if I can build a character in this way, it just feels more thought through. It was a bit slapdash before, and that has changed the experience quite a lot. I always enjoyed the game. I played it on PC originally, so it didn't suffer quite as bad as those. Certainly the PS4 and the Xbox One releases were trash. But yeah, it's just over the last 2-3 years, it has been steadily improved, and I think what was already quite a good game is now a very good game. If anyone's kind of coming to it from fresh now and has never played it, I think they're in for a very good experience.
Nice. I've only played it for a couple of hours once, like a year ago or something. So I'm planning on getting back to it at some point, but because I was so early in the game, I'm going to restart. Simply so I can learn the controls again, because, that's what us old people do. We play Animal Crossing, don't play it for 6 months, and then start again to learn the controls.
Why not?
Like Jawa.
The Jawa method, that's known as.
One day, leave Jawa alone.
What have you been playing, Cumberdanes?
I think they're not a great deal. I finished Pillars of Eternity a few weeks back.
Yeah, you were streaming that on and off, weren't you?
Yeah, I lost enthusiasm for streaming it when there's like a bug in it where the achievements don't ping, and that kind of put me off a little bit. And I just kind of canned it for a couple of days, try and get it finished. It gets a bit boring toward the end, which I've heard the sequel fixes. Yeah, there's loads of enemy encounters. I had the same problem in New Vegas. Well, you reach the max level quite early, and the enemies just get in the way.
Yeah,
they're not really worth fighting, but you can't avoid them. There's no sort of like real sneaking options at all. You've pretty much got to fight whatever's in your way, and got to be a bit of a chore at that point.
Nah, that sucks.
But it was good in the overall. What else did I play recently? I played through the Mario Advance 1 and 2 on Switch Online.
Nice.
Which ones are they? Because they
Advance is Mario 2.
Yeah.
And Advance 2 is Super Mario World.
Ah, nice.
So it's 2 and 4.
Yes. It's a really good version of Super Mario Bros. 2, actually, because it adds little voice samples to it, and there's I think it mixes the bosses up a little bit. There's a nice boss at the midway point, which is a giant robot birdo.
Nice. I did
which
play.
Is not in the NES version.
Yeah, I did play Super Mario Advance back on Game Boy Advance, I think it was on, yeah. And I never actually finished it. I like played it, got a wart, and then just never played it after that for some reason.
It's a weird little silly thing. It's kind of pointless. I'm pretty sure it is. Every time you fight Burno, you can steal. I'm going to not try and misgender them. It's or their ball. If you land on their head and press the grab button, you can remove the ball from their head and throw it away.
That's cool. I didn't know.
There's no purpose. It's just a fun little Easter egg.
Just purely being mean.
Yep. And I finished The Messenger recently.
Yeah, we were talking about that on stream. You said you were enjoying it, but kind of got dull again towards the end, I think you said.
Yeah, I got a bit tired of it toward the end. I think it could have ended a little bit earlier.
And I think you said the comedy, not the comedy, but the jokes and stuff grated. That correct?
Yeah, definitely. I found the banter with like the shopkeeper got a bit old quite quickly, to the point where I was just skipping through what he had to say by the end. I was like, yeah, just hammering the X button or whatever, skip through it all.
Messenger,
I started the DLC as well. The DLC is really fucking tough.
Yeah,
it's only like 3 stages long. I've done 2 of them, but Christ, it's tough. I've heard the 3rd stage is like really, really nasty. Like not quite like Celeste levels of nasty, but getting there.
I've not played Celeste, so how does it compare to Super Meat Boy?
I think Celeste's quite similar to Super Meat Boy, and I've not got very far in Super Meat Boy.
The hardest thing I did in Super Meat Boy was getting the kid, a character.
I did the first boss.
Ah, right,
That was as far as I got.
Yeah, I really liked Super Meat Boy. I never finished it properly. Like I finished it, and then you're meant to do the Dark World stuff, but I couldn't then because I couldn't be asked.
And then most recently, yesterday, I started Lies of P.
How are you finding Lies of P in comparison to the demo? Because I know you played the demo.
Not very different. They just fixed a couple of like silly little problems. One problem they haven't fixed, which is kind of annoys me.
Which is?
But they have fixed the way you move when you're blocking. You can't move properly with the block button held. You sort of like can only like strafe.
All right.
Like you don't have like full like analog movement.
Yeah, I get it.
Really annoying. But they did fix the problem from the demo where you can't roll properly while locked on, because that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that does sound stupid.
It's a very good Soulsborne. It's more like Bloodborne than anything else.
You enjoying it from where you played then? Because you played it for a few hours, didn't you, last night?
Yeah, I played it a bit more today. I've caught up to where I was at basically the end of the demo. Because the end of the demo is like the second major boss. It's at the end of the second chapter of the game. That's where I'm up to now.
Yeah, I remember you saying before the demo was quite substantial.
Yeah, you got like 2 full chapters of the game in the demo, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, are you interested in Lies of P then, Jenuall? Because I know you're a Soulsborne kind of guy. Is Jenuall still there? He's fallen asleep. He's done a Doom and fallen asleep. Wait to see him snoring now.
It says he's still there. He's still on the screen.
Jenuall!
He's going for a poo.
Yeah. Always falling off his chair.
Yeah, this is weird.
Let's just check if he's messaged on G-Arcade.
There's an annoying little problem I've noticed, which I didn't notice it in the demo, but apparently it was still a thing, is storage doesn't work.
Storage?
Like you put items into storage and then they just jump back into your inventory automatically. It's really annoying. It doesn't hurt the game at all. It's just annoying.
Yeah, that does sound annoying.
Because I tend to how in those kind of games you always get the boss soul when you kill a boss.
Yeah.
To make fancy weapons and gear with later on. I tend to put them into storage so I don't use them by mistake.
Right.
And like, because you can also just use them to get loads of souls. So I always put them away just in case I waste them.
Yeah, I get it.
I want to do that, but then just straight back in your inventory where it came from.
Huh. That's something you would have thought they would have got sorted before the demo. Before they got the full game out. After
You would.
doing the demo.
I'm not sure if it's their first game, to be honest, because it's a Korean developer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did see a post on G Arcade that the game is runs really well on the S, X, and PS5, and surprisingly has most of the features of the X and PS5 on the S. It's not downgraded very much at all.
I've noticed a little. I'm on the Series X, and I've noticed a little bit of pop in if you turn the camera too fast.
Mm.
You can see you get a doorway. You'll sometimes notice when if you turn the camera a little too fast, there'll be a white panel for a split second.
Yeah.
While the level loads in.
Nah.
But it's very, very minimal. I'm sure it's their first game. It's developed by two developers called NeoWiz Games and Round 8 Studio.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them.
And I've never heard of them before.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Yes.
Hooray.
What happened?
I had no idea. I was sat there with I've switched my mobile now. I was on my laptop and it just stopped working for no apparent reason. Technology, eh? Good stuff. But yeah, I am interested in Lies of P. Is the answer to the question from 5 minutes ago now? I played the demo. I had the same annoyance with the sort of dodge not working properly when you were locked on, and that kind of put me off a bit. And the thing I always find with these games that are trying to be a Soulsborne FromSoft style combat game, the combat's never as good, or it never feels right in the way that sort of a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne does. And so Lies of P combat just felt that a little bit off, and so that was kind of enough to make me think not so sure anymore. But it's in Game Pass, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it does something quite interesting. This quite new with the combat, with how when you can parry attacks in most of the Souls kind of games.
Yeah,
it gives you a window to do a big damage and counter attack. In Lies of P, getting a perfect block. If you do a normal block, you'll take a bit of chip damage. If you do a perfect block, you don't take chip damage, but you've got a certain percentage chance to break the enemy's weapon. So instead of getting a follow-up attack, you can actually just straight up break the enemy's weapon.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, it does sound interesting.
Then they just can't fight back properly and you kick their ass.
Up against the final boss, break their weapon, punch them into death.
I can't see that happening.
No, I know, but it sounded good.
They're going to do some sort of crossover with Warlong as well, I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember what, but I remember it showing up.
I think it's going to be cosmetic stuff for Warlong.
That's quite interesting.
They're doing Warlong's going to have something similar with Neo 2, I believe. In the near future. I need to try and get the Warlong DLC finished. That was too bloody hard.
That's another one I didn't try that, even though again that's on Game Pass, isn't it? I think
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just too many games now.
Warlong's about really
100 games long. Yeah, I remember sort of hearing other people's opinions on it, and they're saying, it's it was rock solid.
The end boss in it nearly broke me. It's just so bad. You've got to just learn something you've never done all game. In essence, you've got to use something you've never used all game. That being the block button.
It just goes to show
game, you never use the block button. It's all about perfect parries to break the enemy's poise, so you can do a big attack on them. But the final boss, you've got to do lots of blocking, basically.
The thing is, when you look at it, isn't it good that even up to the final boss, the game is teaching you new things?
It is, I suppose, in that respect. If you look at it like that, then yes. But it's so annoying. Like, oh, now I've got to start blocking.
Yeah, you remember that thing from the tutorial 50 hours ago?
Yeah, hold this
do
button
that.
to block. Now you've actually got to use that.
I was going to ask, we normally do a news section, and while I don't want to delve too deeply into news, so I actually want to talk about Starfield, I did think that I wanted to hear your thoughts on a lot of game companies right now cutting staff because they seem to be making the biggest profits fucking ever most of the time, and yet they cut in staff.
Yeah, it's not a great situation. Like, especially when you've got these Epic Games, like the Fortnite guys. I'm sure there was a message put out by, is it Tim Sweeney, like the main guy?
Yeah,
and he's like going, "Oh yeah, hard times. Or we found it, much more difficult to monetize this season of Fortnite than because they've done all this creator stuff with it now." And so, well, yeah, people are making money out of it, and that's great, but we don't make as much money out of it. You're like, mate, you've been absolutely creaming it in for years of Fortnite. You personally are like absolutely loaded, and it's quite a bit of pill to swallow that this guy who's like worth billions is coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we've got to sack some minimum live below the living wage workers so that I can keep my my massive profits that I personally am making and our shareholders are probably making." This all smacks of the worst parts of capitalism. That all the people at the bottom get screwed over whilst all the people at the top still make money. So that's not great.
Yeah, and it seems to be Team 17 are cutting people. I was going to say Uncharted are cutting people, but I mean Naughty Dog.
they do, what's his face in the Uncharted games does cut down a lot of people.
Yeah, and he seems happy with it.
Old Nathan Drake. Yeah.
And I'm happy to the point with Team 17, but aren't they more of a publisher anyway?
I don't know.
How many staff does a publisher need?
17.
I never know kind of with a lot of these now, the sort of distinction between the publishing bit and the development bit. Because obviously Team 17 did used to be, they made games.
I love that first and foremost. They were like a big on the Amiga, like massive on the Amiga. Yeah,
massively. Alien Breed and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, they do seem to be more of a publisher now. But yeah, everyone's
losing their jobs there.
Yeah, that's it. Is this the only way they could have done it?
It just seems...
the Naughty Dog one. I was going to say Naughty Dog seems to like bad planning. It's like this whole multiplayer side of things seems to be causing them massive problems. They can't seem to get it right.
They should have just kept it with the Last of Us Part 1 or Last of Us Part 2 or whatever the fuck it was meant to be with.
Yeah, I'm sure they can re-release and remaster the same game 10 times over to make more money. They'll be fine.
The Last of Us Part 1 in 8K with Super HDR coming exclusively to the PlayStation 6 and the 7 and the
8. Now you can smell the moldy zombies.
But yeah, it's a bitter pill for people to swallow when you see shareholders and CEOs and more, people in the top of the companies going, yeah, I've had my bonus this year of $1 billion, but I had to sack a couple of hundred people because I didn't want to have less than $1 billion. It's shit, really, isn't it?
It is. And it's also really bad with the ones like, who are the guys who've made Fall Guys? Mediatonic or something like that?
Yeah, Mediatonic.
They got bought out, didn't they? And like, you've made this really successful product. It was a relatively small group, you would imagine, and then you think, oh, we're getting the security now of being part of something bigger, and this is going to be a good thing. And then, now you're getting layoffs.
What they should do is like the one I googled this trying to see what the company was. It's a Seattle-based company that processes credit card payments called what are they called? gravity payments. To ensure that all their staff had a $70,000 per annum salary, the head of the company took a huge pay cut.
Yeah,
to make sure all the staff had a decent wage.
Well, it's good to see someone actually.
That was a few years ago now, but yeah, that's more companies should do that sort of thing.
Yeah, Iwata didn't he did before with when the Wii U was doing bad, took a massive pay cut to keep staff and whatever else. Like
that's good shit.
Yeah, I mean,
like Iwata.
Yeah, good old Iwata.
The world didn't deserve Iwata.
No. I
suppose the only other gaming news I've seen recently is the boss of Platinum stepping down soon.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's gone out of my head as well. But yeah, that feels a little bit like there's something going on there in terms of some of the messages that have come out from Platinum and from him personally. I've seen there's like a bit of subtext somewhere that had, one day that'll probably come out what's actually going on, but it feels a bit like this isn't necessarily amicable.
Hideki Kamiya.
That's the one. Yeah, wasn't he involved in a lot of stuff? Like
he's known for blocking people on Twitter.
Yeah. But when he was with Capcom, wasn't he involved in like Resi 2 and on and so forth?
Oh yeah,
Devil May
Cry
Cry
a lot of games with Capcom.
Yeah.
Kami.
Yeah, let's have a look. Like he directed he was involved with Resident Evil 2. He directed he was involved with Resi 1. He directed Resi 2. He directed Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
He worked on Resi 0. He directed Beautiful Joe 1, 2, and the beat 'em up one. And then Okami.
Yeah.
He did a voiceover in Phoenix Wright as well.
Cool.
But then he's pretty much directed all the kind of main Platinum games. So Bayonetta, Wonderful 101, Bayonetta 2, Astral Chain, Bayonetta 3. He was involved with Scalebound, which apparently is uncancelled now.
That's why he's leaving the company. He wants it cancelled, and he's like, "Fuck that shit."
I'd actually heard because it was that was going to be an Xbox exclusive, like an Xbox One exclusive.
It was,
cancelled. I'd heard it was uncancelled, and it was going to be a PS5 game.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? How the turntables.
Yeah, that's the only other gaming news I've heard is that it's Kamiya leaving Platinum.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what's going on there, because like one of the things I think he said in a tweet or some kind of post was something along the lines of due to my own beliefs I'm leaving the company kind of thing. So it's like, what's going on there then?
It's a bit like Kojima leaving, or being fired from Konami. I feel that wasn't very friendly either.
No, but he also made shit games, so. Hey, I get it. People love Kojima's games. I just not a big fan.
God, yeah.
I just don't get on with them. Simple fucking
NGS4 is so good. It's got a monkey addicted to caffeine. What's not to love?
What more do you need from your games, Pedz?
Exactly. A monkey addicted to caffeine is the best thing in video games ever.
What I need in my games is a spaceship, and that's going to lead us on Starfield. So, let's see what you guys think about the game we have been playing together, even though we technically weren't.
I was just checking how many hours I've put into that.
I put in not as many as you, most likely, but I put in a fair few. So
about 5 days, 18 hours.
Oh, I don't think I put in. I think I put in like 3-4 days.
138 hours I've put into it.
Shit, that's a lot of time, man. So Starfield, then, right? Bethesda are saying it's the second coming, making everyone super hyped, jizzing all over our faces with not doing that. Basically, Todd Howard is saying how this is going to be like an evolution of the games, and that kind of thing, and it's come out to rather mixed reception. I think critically, critics and stuff have been more favorable than fans. Like, I know some will say, well, some people are like, it's not great because it's on the Xbox, and others will be like, it's great because it's on the Xbox. But I couldn't give a shit what it's on. For me personally, I was expecting the game to be more than what it was then. What about you guys? Cumberdanes, what way do you stand on Starfield?
Let's call a spade a spade. It's Fallout in space.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed
space
it.
With Skyrim powers.
Yeah, that threw me for a hoop. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, it does nothing revolutionary.
Lets you fly a spaceship. Sometimes.
Isn't a spaceship just a horse?
Does your horse have guns?
Has horse armor.
Yours does, yeah. What about you, Jenuall? Where do you stand on Starfield? Yeah. Was you super hyped for it?
So, I was not super hyped for it. I mean, I've always enjoyed their games. What Starfield has kind of confirmed for me is that enjoyment has just effectively decreased with each release, because they are the same game in many ways. Their formula is very clear. Like, when you're playing, Bethesda Games Studios RPG, somebody could have not said a word about Starfield, not told anyone who made it, gave it to you, and you would know kind of instantly, oh right, this is the next Bethesda game, because it just basics of the way it works, the way it feels, the way kind of when you talk to people, the way it locks the camera, it looks like right at the person, the way that kind of everything feels the same about their games. And I think over time the sort of magic has worn off for me on them. That's not to say there wasn't enjoyment to be had there. I think I've put about 35 hours into it. So yeah, I didn't just drop it straight away. But I had hoped, given that this wasn't a Fallout game, this wasn't an Elder Scrolls game, this was different setting, an opportunity for them to mix things up a bit, an opportunity for them to maybe look at what other people have been doing in the RPG space, and kind of generally games have moved on from where they were. I thought maybe this is the time where they're going to mix things up. They're going to do some new things. They're going to kind of take inspiration from what others have done. So I was hopeful that it would kind of stop that slide that to me their games have been on, and it didn't really do that. So I think it was more disappointing, because I got my expectations up that maybe they were going to kind of break from the mold a bit. But yeah, like we said, it is Fallout in space. If you like Fallout, it still does all those things that you enjoy. There are things that are better about it. It looks nicer. It looks nicer than their previous games. It's still, like all of their things, doesn't look as good as what anyone else is doing at the time. But yeah, it's a Bethesda RPG. If you like them, you'll probably like this. Yeah, that's kind of my high level view of it, I guess.
My thoughts on it were as well. I thought like with a food analogy, like you don't always have to eat lobster. Sometimes a burger will do the trick.
I've never had lobster, therefore that analogy's shit.
No, but in this case, like lobsters like seen as like fine dining.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes like just pasty will do the job.
Yeah, but I think kind of and I think that's right. And not everything has to be the kind of the second coming. But I think in that case, call a spade a spade. Like I'm not saying it's we're in sort of Driver 3 territory of people have been bought out and
it's
kind of
not a bad game.
but in terms of like the critical response, when they came out with that, like everyone does now, it seems like a day after release you get like the awards trailer, or they do like a thing where they put all these like 10 out of 10s on screen. Look at all these, like, and it does feel a bit like, well, come on guys, this isn't lobster, this is a burger. Call it what it is. If you really love burgers, fine, maybe you'll think this is a 10 out of 10. But in a general, like, objective review, I don't see how anyone can look at this and go, "This is a perfect game." There are obviously things that could do better. Like, give it an 8, give it a 9, like, but it's not. This is not a 10 out of 10. In a year where we've had things like Tears of the Kingdom doing, like amazing, clever things, and kind of like, improving on what was already an amazing experience. Where you've had things like Resident Evil 4 remake coming out, and people saying, this takes something that was like one of the best experiences ever and refreshes it for a new audience. And well, those are 10s. You can give that a 10. But when this is like, well, it's a reheated version of what Bethesda have been doing for 20 years. Is that really a 10?
I haven't played Pillars of Eternity recently. I can kind of come back to that, and like, for me, I think Bethesda should take a leaf out of like their stablemate book, Obsidian, because the writing in Pillars of Eternity is fantastic. Like, even down like really small side quests, there's just layers of depth to them. Like, one of the very first quests you pick up in that game is you come to this little town and you find out there's a guy who owns a mill, and you find out he's shortchanging people. Like, he's giving his friends good prices and overcharging everybody else, that sort of thing. But the guy who is complaining about it swears there's more to it, and it's like and there is, like, without wanting to go too far into it, there is quite a bit of depth to the quest.
Yeah,
like way more than you expect initially from just some bloke shortchanging people.
Yeah, and that again is a real thing where it feels like, well, 15, 20 years ago, whatever, when Oblivion was coming out, it's like, okay, well, you've got this huge open world, you've got kind of loads of things going on, you've got all these different like faction quests you can go on, and kind of that can help paper over the fact that, do you know what, your main quest isn't actually that interesting and your characters aren't brilliantly written. You can kind of forgive some of that stuff. So, well, no one else is doing a game on this scale in this way. Look at all the different types of character you can build. But over time, you think, well, you haven't really improved any of the things you're good at, and everyone else is out there now, like, writing amazing quests, like, the side quest content in something like a Pillars of Eternity, or like Baldur's Gate 3, which has been out this year. Like, just everyone else has taken things forward in terms of like how detailed and in depth and engrossing the stories are. And they're not there. They're not at the same level. And it's if you hooked on the mechanics, you can forgive that. But I think for me, and I think for probably quite a lot of other people, it's like, well, the mechanics are feeling stale, and if the story and the characters aren't, and the quests aren't really pulling you through anymore, it does start to feel like, well, this is all a bit middle of the road now.
Yeah,
so like a 7 out of 10 game. I think when it's good, it is really good though. There's like this certain quest that you're like, oh yeah, that's a really fun quest. The one I always come back to is Mantis.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Mantis
that
was a
quest.
great quest.
Yeah,
there's a quest in the main campaign as well, where you're it's one of the artifacts you've got to find, and you're flitting between 2 different dimensions.
Yeah.
At first, it's out of control, and you keep getting sort of zapped from one dimension to the other. Basically, like, one's in it's 2 different timelines. Like, an accident happened in a lab, and you keep getting flipped between 2 timelines. One where the accident was contained, and one where it wasn't.
Yeah, I enjoyed that quest. This guy's kind of not exactly the same, but it does remind me kind of Titanfall 2 with the time thing. It's not exactly the same because that's more of a time thing. I also believe Dishonored 2 has a similar thing, and obviously I know Jenuall's probably gonna fucking jizz his pants that I mentioned Dishonored 2, but I believe that's the same thing in the some what was it called? Something Mansion, Clockwork Mansion, or something.
Yeah, that's not the time travel one then.
Oh, I don't know. Just you.
There's two amazing levels. They're all amazing levels in the game. Those are the two standouts. Yeah. Clockwork Mansion and this Crack in the Slab, where you can flip between different time zones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
roleplay singularity.
Yeah. When Starfield gets things right and has a really interesting quest, which it does, there's definitely really good content in there. Like you say, it feels more like, hey, I could give this what I'm doing right now. I could give this an 8. I could give this a 9. Like there are good quests in there. They're just kind of a bit few and far between. And it's like for every time you're doing something like that, it's really interesting. And okay, well, there's good world building going on here, and I'm actually interested in what's going on. Like a lot of the stuff I thought with the like the Terramorphs side of things and the way they kind of introduced that to start with, and it all feels quite like you're in Aliens or something. It's like, ooh, what's going on this planet I've landed on? And there's actually quite a lot of suspense in there. But then 5 minutes later, you're on a quest, and it's like, go halfway across the galaxy to push a button, and then fly halfway across the galaxy again to go and say one line of dialogue to another person to push the quest forward, and then go over here, and suddenly you spend I've spent a whole session of this game basically just going in and out of menus and kind of doing nothing of interest, and it kind of that balance shifts a bit too much towards doing the mundane for me.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you there. The problem, like I think we've all said in the thread, the Starfield thread on G Arcade, I don't understand why most of the time, I thought all the time, but most of the time, there's no like type of phone. They don't seem to communicate.
I remember the radios exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can travel through space, but they can't fucking give you a quick call on a mobile and go, yo, you press the button.
Yeah.
Good job.
Something I loved in Xenoblade Chronicles. When you finished the side quest in Xenoblade Chronicles, that was it. The quest was done.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go back to town and hand it in.
Yeah.
That was a great quality of life improvement for RPGs.
Yeah, and also the fact, what I liked about it, obviously I don't know if it's like in 2 and 3, but in the first Xenoblade, is you'll pick up something for a quest and it'll be like, you'll have a flash forward of, oh, this is a quest item. That was handy, because then you know it was for a quest.
I think some of the best times I had with Starfield was just not doing quests, just taking off exploring. Like I came across this abandoned space station that was turned out to be a casino.
I did that.
Like it was an abandoned casino in zero gravity that had been overrun by pirates. So you've got to fight all the pirates, and then you get the password to the cash box on the big one-armed bandit. And you can like steal all the money out of it, which I thought was quite fun. But there's no quest that takes you there. It's just somewhere I found off my own back.
Yeah, I found that, but I didn't actually get the loot at the end. I just killed everyone left.
Yeah, if you meant to go upstairs and you check the manager's computer terminal, you get the password for the bandit.
I found like a secret, what seemed like a little hidden off room with like bio weapons and stuff or shit in the background, in like a little case. I think it was not bio weapons. What are they called? Xenobioweapons or something. Xenoweapons.
Contraband.
It was contraband. Yeah, it was contraband.
Yeah, that's the same place. Yeah. That's behind the gambling machine. That's where you go with the password to get the cash.
Ah, well, I found that. I just didn't enter anything.
And yesterday I was just picking around in it, and I found this like an abandoned spaceship where the gravity's fucked. The gravity keeps going on and off.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was fun. The idea was you had to try and get the power stable so you could access a vault full of like gear.
I personally think that Starfield should have been a smaller game with the more interesting stuff.
And it would be our world, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be, but I'm not saying it has to be as small as that. It's like they're saying there's 1,000 planets to visit. There doesn't need to be 1,000 planets to visit. Like they could have done 100 planets to visit and given you the ability to fucking take off and fly through space instead of menu. Like one of the things people complain about is like Starfield. You can do that in No Man's Sky. You can take off, you can fly out to outer space, and then fly to another planet, all without using a menu. And some people saying it's unfair because of the kinds of games, but is there an unfair comparison? Because Both Starfield and No Man's Sky are massive fucking games.
Yeah.
Like, why is one okay to do and one not?
I think what I really wanted from it, like, proper maps.
Yeah.
The maps.
Not a random map every time you land.
Yeah.
There was one planet I was on when I was trying to survey it, and I needed to find fish. There was 2 fish I had to find. And no matter how many times I landed in the right biome, which was like swamp/coast, I believe, I could never find the sea. It took me like about 20 times of like taking off and landing before I finally found somewhere that had an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it needed proper maps, not randomness.
Yeah, and that into like the proper maps thing is huge because, like you say, you can go off and do your own things, and you will stumble on interesting stuff like that casino, zero gravity like casino level. That is really fun, and you find it. But everything about the design of this game, I think, discourages exploration in a way that's really odd because everything about their previous games has been, well, you're in this open world and it's like, oh yeah, there's an interesting looking building over there, there's an interesting looking mountain over there, I'll go over there. But this game's all about taking off, landing somewhere else. And I've never explored any of the places I land really beyond going where the quest tells me to. You can get your scanner up and it'll tell you like, oh, there's a unidentified structure over there, or there's something over in that direction, but there's nothing about that makes me want to go and look at it. I can't see it other than my scanner telling me it's there. So there's nothing real in the world making me think, oh, that looks odd. What's over there? I'll go explore. And just, there's no, why are there no like moon buggies or anything in this? Why can't you drive around on a plane? Why do I have to walk there? Why can't I get in my ship and fly there? Yeah, it's like nothing. And just finish, like all of the places I've landed, and admittedly I've not been to all of them. But everywhere is just really dull looking, flat space. But that all the places I've been to, it's like, well, I don't want to explore this. This doesn't look like fun. And I don't know how they've ended up there when you think, you think of the worlds in like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls games. They are interesting places to explore and look at. And there's a cave over there. I go, oh, check that out. There's nothing like that in this. It just doesn't entice me at all.
It's surprising that when you say like that Fallout has a more interesting, it has you more interested in exploring when this has so many different planets with so many different biomes and things like that. And Fallout was a wasteland. It's just like, you wouldn't think that would be the ways.
This is a wasteland.
Starfield might be set in the Fallout universe, actually.
I did hear that they were going to. I did read
there's the whole
something
thing
about that.
Apparently, the Vault program was to prepare humans for space colonization. That's what the Vault program was originally meant for.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
Mm.
So it adds up if that's the case.
Nah, unless they got a big fat fucking Vault Boy. There's no Vault Boy in the game, therefore it can't be. I refuse to believe it. I did read that like Todd Howard or someone said they were going to set it on the same Earth, but they didn't. So whether or not that's the case or not, I don't know.
One thing I find a bit weird in it is, like, quite early on, I got married to that woman Sarah that you meet near the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are we okay to go into spoilers?
I will announce. Well, I honestly don't mind. I don't know about Jenuall and also the listeners.
She dies.
Right, yeah.
I knew that.
She dies, right? It kind of comes out of nowhere. It's quite shocking, but yeah, she dies. But then straight away, because I was already friendly with the other female character, you can just move on straight away.
Just like real life.
You can be like, hey, what the fuck?
It's funny like, because
yes,
I actually read up on that because I didn't actually bother with anyone other than Andreja, the other woman, and then we obviously end up marrying and what have you, even though you don't get married to her. It's weird. And and she died. I was like, it's the only character I've actually interacted with. Fuck that shit. I reloaded my save 2 hours previously and fucking went and saved her and let fucking Barrett die because I couldn't give 2 fucks about Barrett or anyone else.
I like Barrett's.
Yeah.
Barrett's companion quest is pretty fun, actually.
He's dead. Well, one version of him is dead. Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, like, he's going through like some old boxes in his house, and he finds like a letter he forgot about from his husband.
All right.
And like, it turns out he got into some legal trouble, and you've got to try and gather like evidence to prove his innocence.
All right. Yeah, I didn't. Only quest, character quest I did was Andresia's, whatever her
I
name
did
was.
all of them. Like, Sam's is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Sam, you've got to reconcile him and his wife for the sake of their daughter.
Nah. Fuck her.
Yeah, I didn't bother with too many of the like companion quests. I quite early on I was like, right, let's try and mainline this and get, because everyone was like, well, it's not a very good game until you do so much of the main quest, which immediately is a bit of a an alarm bell situation. It's like, well, hold on, because this game is so bad you have to spend 20 hours doing this thing that's not great until it gets good. That doesn't sound fun. But none of them particularly, I don't think in this game, and in general, I don't think the Bethesda have been great. It's kind of like enticing you into side content or like companion content.
I gotta be honest, with the side stuff in Oblivion, not everything, but like the guilds and the... I was well into doing them, and then, like Skyrim, I was less so, especially with the Thieves Guild, because not the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion was so much better than fucking...
The Guild in Skyrim was great, and the reward at the end of it was fantastic.
Yeah, I meant Dark Brotherhood.
You got basically the bat suit. Oh, sorry, the Nightingale armor. Let's call it what it was. It was the bat suit.
Yeah.
It even had a cape.
Batman. But yeah, Starfield is a game that, to be honest, while I enjoyed it, I was a little disappointed. I think going through all the menus to just get anyway, not really feeling enticed to explore that much, didn't help. Hearing about people saying you need to get a certain distance in or at least finish the story and the New Game Plus is where it's at kind of put me off a bit, even though I still put in a lot of time. And don't get me wrong about the companion, one of the companions died, and I read up on what I was, which is why I knew how to sort it. The 2 companions you're the closest to will be one of the people who die. So if you're good friends with 2 people, one of them will die. Obviously, Andresia and Barrett, because I did 2 quests with Barrett. One at the beginning, and one just before that story part. But it picks the 2 you're closest with. So if they I think on PC you can put an input code in and it'll show you the affiliation you have with them, whereas obviously you can't do that on PC on console.
Something that really annoyed me with it, it's something that pissed me off with Fallout 4 as well. I think I mentioned it to a few people already, is it's got collectibles in it, and at least 2 of them are very, very missable, and it's really annoying. I hate shit like that.
Don't worry about it, dude. As soon as you do New Game Plus, you want to have them anyway.
Well, yeah, they're getting that wound me up as well. So I've kept my proper save. I'm going back to my main save like when DLC comes out for it.
Yeah, I did actually save before making the New Game Plus thing, but I didn't expect in New Game Plus for you to lose literally everything. You start the game with nothing.
No, you literally have a spacesuit. That's it.
And a spaceship.
Not even like a basic fucking pea shooter. Oh yeah, you got a fancy spaceship as well. Apparently, you get like a better version of the spacesuit every time you beat the game.
I didn't notice the difference on my spacesuit. I know the ship didn't get any better, but because I finished the game and then finished it again, because you can finish the second playthrough onwards extremely fucking fast.
Yeah, because it's like abridged versions of the missions, isn't it?
No, you can. I don't know exactly what you can do with the missions, but you can either go, "Oh, I'm here to help Constellation," or "I'm actually not what you think," and then tell them what happens, and you skip all the story and just collect the
There's
fucking
like
artifacts and finish.
Sort of different variants you can come across. Like one version where like everyone's dead apart from like Vasco the robot and stuff like that.
Yeah, I read about that because I was like, I read on like, can you come across? Like, I looked on the internet, like, can you come across the original people? But it didn't come up with that. But it's like you can come across that you can come to Constellation. For some reason, this was in my search, and no one's there, and it's just kids, and it's being used as a playhouse. So far,
like a version of the universe where everyone's kids, but yeah, there's maybe one where everyone's dead apart from Vasco, which I think is quite funny.
Sounds pretty fun, actually. It's but there's meant to be like different variations with little things each time you play it, but like I deleted it off my hard drive now, so I wanted to make space. I've got to play Gollum for a review that like Cricken asked me to.
Wow. There we go.
Like, kill its developer.
Yeah.
Oh well. Can't be that bad, surely.
Yeah, a game that like had I mean, joking aside, for the guy who bought Horse Armor, but that game had My Precious as a premium paid for remote.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know, Gollum's catchphrase.
Yeah.
You had to pay to get it.
Do you say that in the books, My Precious, or is it just in the films? Because I've never read the book, and I don't like the films either.
I think it does say Precious quite a bit in the books from memory. I've only read The Hobbit and Fellowship, to be fair. Two Towers was boring.
Yeah, I never got all the way through Fellowship. I thought that was pretty boring.
It is. It's full of what's just waffle.
Yeah.
He just waffles on about nothing. I'd rather watch the movies where they just cut out all the crap.
And I found them boring, so I can't imagine reading the books.
Well, yeah.
This is it.
The films are pretty long as it is. Like Christ, I had all the shit from the book, like all the Tom Bombadil nonsense. Oh.
You get all these people who are like, oh, you know, the director's cut, that's what you want, is 4.5 hours. I want the anti-director's cut. I want the bit where they play down even more.
Loads of the books is just people walking through the woods singing.
Yeah.
Just cut out all the walking and the singing, and you've got like a 10-minute story.
Yeah.
Lads go to a volcano, drop a ring in it at the end.
Yeah.
Bunch of lads say, "Oh, Eagle, give us a lift." The end.
Yeah.
I will see the Eagles were sentient.
Hey, they know holding the ring.
The Eagles had to want to help.
Give them a $5.
What the Hobbits should have done is they should have just gone into the menu and fast traveled. That
should have done.
They would have got there.
Yeah, just
Speaking of fast traveling in games and Lord of the Rings, is I really need to actually play Shadow of Mordor, or whatever it's called.
I need to finish Shadow of. I started the first one. It's really good. I was getting really into it, and then just stopped playing for some reason.
I do that with games all the time. I'm like Jawa, never finish a game.
It's quite tough. I think with Matt. I was chatting to Matt about it because he really likes it. I think it was in like a stream chat, and I was saying I was finding it really hard, and he mentioned that like it does start really difficult, but when you start getting some of the different powers you can unlock, it really like opens things up for you.
I reckon he said, "Get good." It's just the kind of thing he'd say, man. One thing I want to say about Starfield, right? Because we're gonna have to wrap up soon, right? One thing I want to say about Starfield is, when you look back to Oblivion and you leave the sewers and you enter this lovely world and you see all this lovely stuff, you're like, wow, this looks cool. And then in Starfield, you do the little intro bit, you wake back up, you leave the fucking building you're in, and it's just this shitty fucking rock. You're like, meh. I was so disappointed. I'm like, really? I thought it'd be like some really cool world. No, it's just a fucking shitty Mars-looking planet.
There's
no offense to Mars.
Gates, though.
Huh?
There's no endless Oblivion gates.
No. Yeah, that's true.
They were so annoying in Oblivion.
Yeah.
Just constantly Oblivion gates opening up.
When I played Oblivion for first, well, I've never actually finished Oblivion, but I've played it for hundreds of hours. I never went to, is it Kvatch or something? Well, you're supposed to go to one city, and that that triggers the whole. Oh, Oblivion gates are opening. I never went there. I never saw an Oblivion gate at all. Like for like about 80 hours of play, I never went to see what's his face, Sean Bean. Never went to see him. Like I just went off and did like other stuff for like an entire game's worth of entertainment. And everyone's like, oh, the Oblivion gates were really annoying, weren't they? And I'm like, you what? What are they?
That's like, isn't that like one of the very first places you go in the game? Story-wise.
Yeah. Because the first thing is you go to, you have to go to some abbey to meet a guy called Prior Mayborrel, who gives you your first horse, and that's where Sean Bean lives.
Yeah. I did it eventually, but yeah, because actually I think, yeah, you have to go to that. Yeah, is it like Wayne Priory or something? Wayne Priory, yeah, you need a guy called Joffrey or something. Joffrey, yeah, that's it. Yeah, because that's basically Picard gets killed at the start, and he's like, you talk to his Blades guy, and the Blades guy's like, right, go to see Joffrey, who's like, he's a monk now, but he used to be a Blade. That doesn't. But yeah, if you don't do that, you can just go everywhere. You can go to Kvatch. Kvatch doesn't burn down. It's just like a normal town. You can go to you can go anywhere you want. You don't have all this Oblivion game nonsense. It's a much better game. I recommend that playstyle.
I'm sorry, but Picard.
Before, when you start getting like Skyrim powers, I wish I'd did more of the main campaign in Starfield first. Because I take my normal approach to these games. I do everything but the campaign.
Yeah,
try and do as many side quests as I can, and then eventually do the campaign. But so by the time I got to the point where you start getting the special abilities, I was nearly finished the game.
Yeah, I was very.
So I never used any of them.
I did a bit of the story, and I think I got my power before I started doing side quests. I was like, so what I did is I would do some side stuff, then do a little bit of the story to get more powers, then do side stuff. The irritating thing is, for me, the worst thing about the game is when you get to a certain point, it's like, there's another tower, go there to get our power. Okay, but you have 5 artifacts, tell me where all 5... No. You wait, you go and explore that tower, and when you come back, I'll tell you about another one. Seriously, Vladimir? Yeah. Yes, that is what's happening. Fuck off.
Even when you've got all the powers, it says there's temples left when there isn't.
So that's why you're saying it. I was really confused.
It's a known bug.
Yeah, that's all right, Dan. Because I finished the first playthrough and the second playthrough, and both times it said there was 3 towers left, and I was like, okay, is this
apparently
the hidden towers I don't know about?
It gets worse in later playthroughs where sometimes you can't even get all 24 in New Game Plus because he won't tell you about them.
Ugh. Fucking hell. But yeah, the one thing about New Game Plus where you skip all the story and stuff is literally go to Vladimir, get a few towers, go do them, then 8 towers in a row is like, go to him, go to the tower, go back to him, go to tower, go back to him, go to tower. And it's like, seriously, can't you just tell me all of them at once? You like fucking dick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. There is a few things I wouldn't mind doing differently if I was to play it again. Like maybe like siding with the pirates or something. That sort of thing.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't know if I'd like to do a New Game Plus or just start a new one because I was playing my way as like a decent guy, and I don't want to like, now I'm Starboard. I'm gonna act like a dick just because I want to.
I've been honest, when it came to the end of that little campaign with like the pirates, I kind of felt bad for like betraying Delgado, the pirate guy, because he seemed like a solid dude.
Yeah,
and part of me just wanted to take all the money.
That's it. Yeah.
Fuck both of them.
I think I actually read I read up on that, and I think you get the exact same. If you don't, I don't know if you can run with it. Maybe you can, but if you side with either of them, you get the exact same amount of money. The best thing about it is the reason why I was looking actually is because I want to know for merchants, because it's pissing me off. I'm like, I got a ship full of cargo. Let's go sell it. Oh, this This fucking person has only got 2,000 credits. The best place to sell in the entire game is on the eye. So
you mean when
the key, sorry, yeah. The eye
was the best contraband by far because everybody bought it.
Yeah, just selling stuff in general because there was like 7 stalls in one place. It meant you could sell more things at once. You screw that over, then you've got to go to every fucking planet that's got 1 or 2 people who sell things and constantly hop about, and occasionally they'll have more than $5,000. Ridiculously shite.
Also, or sit and wait 48 hours for the inventory to refresh.
Oh, and why does the waiting take so long? Like you go, I'm going to sit and wait, and then it's like tick, tick, tick. Like, can you? I might be missing something whether you can skip. That is just so annoying because that's what I did. Yeah, I got my inventory is full of like tons of stuff I want to sell, but this guy's only got $5,000. So I'll sell 2 things. Go and sit down for 48 hours. Sell 2 more things.
They did what? There was something in Oblivion where one of the perks in Oblivion was that you could invest in a vendor.
Yes,
and it would permanently give them more gold to play with.
Yeah.
One of the things I liked is one of the people I went to, they were a vendor. They had a shit ton of cheese, so I just bought it all. Just to make up for all the people who kept selling cheese to people.
Yeah, that reminds me of a silly little webcomic I saw about Skyrim, where it was like a guy who's like a shopkeeper, and he comes home from work, and his wife's giving him an earful for like buying hundreds of wheels of cheese. She's like, "Why the fuck did you buy 500 wheels of cheese?"
That's why I laughed as I bought the cheese.
Yeah. Some adventurer sold it to him.
Like he had a sort of certain twinkle in his eye. I couldn't resist. His persuasion stat was really high, and I gave that's it.
He had real main character energy.
Yeah, his mercantile skill was really high.
To be fair, right?
That's
one thing about Skyrim is you are the main character, yeah? You have to do all this shit. Are you technically the main character in Oblivion because you do everything for someone else to become king? Are you just the sidekick?
Yeah, because it's like at the end of Oblivion, it's like Martin fights Mehrunes Dagon, not you. Like Martin turns into a big red dragon and fights the giant Daedra guy.
That's true. I mean, you do still get to be like, I'm the king of the Thieves Guild, and I'm the top person in the Dark Brotherhood and all that sort of stuff.
You do also become a god because you become Shaggy.
Yes. Yeah.
I think there's a theory of because as to why there's no Fighters Guild in Skyrim. It's because the Fighters Guild was ran into the ground by having Sheogorath as its leader. Because technically, when you meet Sheogorath in Skyrim, that's your character from Oblivion.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you meet Sheogorath in Skyrim? At Starfield?
You should do. That would be awesome if Sheogorath was in Starfield.
It would be.
Maybe in one universe he is there.
Speaking of just finding cool things as well, did you guys find the Star Trek reference? Where you find this ship of with a whole lost Star Trek crew.
No, I don't think so.
Did you ever find the planet with a holiday resort called Paradiso?
Yeah.
Well, orbiting the planet where Paradiso is, there's a ship that's broke down because it left Earth 200 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Then they think they're the only ship that left Earth.
Yeah.
And everyone's in a Star Trek uniform.
Yeah. I remember doing that quest now. Yeah,
that's a fun little quest.
People said that
it's glitchy because it won't progress now. I fixed their grav drive for them, and now it tells me to go and check in on them, but they won't progress. They won't leave.
I haven't seen anything to check in on them. Like I finished the quest. I don't know if you're meant to see them again after you get rid of them.
Yeah, you're meant to. Yeah, because you got a prompt saying to go and check in on them.
Yeah, I have not though.
That's a fun little mission.
I just assumed they crashed into a sun because they weren't used to the grav drive.
Idiots who convinced they're the only people that ever left Earth.
Yeah. Well, they left earlier than everyone else, and then technology progressed, and everyone left later, 50 years later, or 100 years later, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Plus,
You say. Sorry, I was going to. You say technology progressed, but that's one of the really annoying things about this. So you go back to Earth, like where everyone's supposed to have left it, like 100 years ago or 300 years ago. Well, I can't remember what the
I think it's
timeline is now.
200-ish.
I think it's about 200, isn't it? Yeah. But like everything there is the same as it is now. Like all of the med kits look exactly the same. All of the computers look the same. Could you not have made some unique assets for this? Is the past. Like you go to that moon base and it's like, well, this looks exactly like every other installation I've been to in the present day.
Oh, yeah, it's like that when you go to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
Because toward the end of the story, you actually go to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah. And it's just
all a bit.
And you find out there's a bit of like this whole self-creation paradox of how like humans found an artifact and fuck things up.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah,
that's why the Earth is fucked, because humans have found an artifact and make grav drives out of it.
Yeah, that was quite cool, like the way that whole thing, because you learn that's like through like audio logs and you kind of hear the scientists talking about it, and it's like the like woman who's kind of like in the dark about it, and the guy who actually knows that he's basically screwing everyone over. That was quite a cool bit. I was going to say the mention of Star Trek that made me think of probably my favorite thing about this game is that like one of the Constellation guys is voiced by Quark from Deep Space Nine. That's probably the most of my enjoyment was kind of keeping him around and hearing what was basically Quark. So the guy who's like, I can't remember his name now. The old guy who's like he's like the one who funds Constellation.
Oh, Eklund.
Yeah.
Someone Eklund.
So he is Quark from Deep Space Nine. And as soon as I because for a couple of hours I was like, that sounds really familiar. Who are you? And then I was like, oh, it's Quark.
That's his name. Yeah.
So that just brought a smile to my face every time I heard him. And what's his face? The Sam Coe is the Deus Ex guy, isn't he? So it's quite fun hearing him. Just imagining you're going around with Adam Jensen from Deus Ex.
Which Deus Ex?
The new ones.
Mankind Divided and something like that.
Yeah, not that guy.
Can we just talk about the big elephant in the room with Starfield? Is where's the fucking aliens?
Yeah.
I was expecting aliens. I'm not gonna lie.
I was expecting to have sex with an alien.
Exactly. Why can't I have sex with Leon from Mass Effect?
Mass Effect let me do that. So come on, Starfield.
Yeah, one thing that it does.
Aliens years ago.
I did mention on the forum. It does bring up the what's it called theory?
Fermi paradox.
The Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
So
if aliens exist, why haven't we met them yet?
Yeah.
It does bring that up. So at least it does have a kind of plausible kind of theory behind it.
I'd like to see like some first contact DLC.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that kind of disappoints about the game is that it's a whole new setting for you. Yeah, this is space. You could, in theory, do whatever the hell you wanted here, and
just humans.
Like, it feels like they kind of missed a huge open goal for like we can just have aliens going on. We can have any kind of weird stuff going on. We can kind of do whole new different types of quests and storylines. It's like, well, no, you have done Fallout in space. I know, stick to what you know is kind of a pretty good mantra, but it's like, you could have gone, you had the whole of space to work with. You had no restrictions. This isn't an Elder Scrolls game. This isn't a Fallout game. You don't have to be tied to the way things work there. You could have done anything. And it felt like there was just so much opportunity that wasn't taken.
It could have even had space mutants, which would have been super mutants, but with alien antennas. Yeah,
but even Fallout had different races because you had your humans, you had your ghouls, and you had your super mutants.
Yeah. No, I can't disagree with it. It is disappointing. I was thinking maybe the Starborn were going to be some sort of alien. I was kind of all right with the way they turned out to be with the whole Starborn stuff, but it would have been cool to see some kind of
quite interesting.
They should have made a deal with Warhammer to just have the Warhammer style fucking orcs from 40k in there. That'd have been cool.
Base cockneys.
Yeah. Super angry
voiced by
space
Jawa.
cockneys. Yeah.
I'm sure we can mod him in to the PC version.
Oh, I'd love it.
Lovely. I mean, that's kind of the villains in what's it called, Killzone, and they're all like weird space cockneys.
How was that,
I've
Eric?
never
Like
Never
the
played
leader of the
Killzone.
villains in Killzone 3 is Ray Winston.
Oh wow!
We've gone a bit over than I had planned. Is there anything you would like to say now about Starfield before we end? How would you rate Starfield, Jenuall?
I again said this sort of in the thread on G Arcade is I would probably give it a 7. You know, at times when you're in a good quest and it's actually trying to do interesting things and kind of that the sort of gameplay loop is doing its thing, I could maybe give it an 8. I'd never go higher than that. But then there are also plenty of times, like I say, where you're kind of just going in that menus, you're sort of doing quests that are not particularly interesting, or it's just like rolling out the same sort of tropes that you've seen before. Like if I experience another game that thinks the most interesting thing to do, or not even just game, like anything that thinks the most interesting thing to do in space is be like, oh, it's Wild West in space. I'm gonna have to murder someone. Like that is not interesting. You've got you've got a whole world of settings you could do, and you're like, nah, space Wild West, mate. But yeah, when it's
Years ago.
yeah, when you've got like you're stuck in those not interesting bits of the game. Yeah, I could go as low as saying this is like a 5 out of 10 experience. But overall, I think it's a 7. It's not offensive most of the time. It does it does some good things. It's at times quite interesting as a story and a setting, but I couldn't go higher than a 7. I don't think.
What about yourself then, Cumberdanes?
I think 7's a fair grade. I was saying before, when it's good, it's really good, but it's not that good all the time.
Yeah,
I think 7's a fair evaluation. It maybe an 8. I could maybe push for an 8. I mean, it's the first. I will say this: it's the first game in a long time that's had me consecutively staying up till like 5 a.m. playing it several days in a row.
yeah.
It really hooked me like no game has in quite a long time.
I think the term there is, I don't know.
I did take most of last week off work just to cane Starfield.
I was going to make a joke, but I can't be asked. Yeah, I would give her a 7 myself. Like,
put it this way, like, I love the Final Fantasy series. I stopped playing Final Fantasy 16 about halfway through because I just didn't give a fuck about anything.
Fair enough.
It just wasn't grabbing me at all. It didn't feel like I'd played half of a game. It said I was at 50% completion, but I was like, well, I haven't done anything yet. So how was that half the game when I've done nothing?
Yeah, I think this game, like, it seems to be too large for its own good. The menus fuck me off. A lot of the stuff is just extremely mundane to me, but there's some things there that really interested me, some of the side quests. I actually liked the story with all the Starborn stuff and the way Earth ended up the way it did and why people had to leave and all that kind of thing. That was actually pretty interesting, and I liked the little twist. But
I really liked the... did you do the Ryujin Corporation quest line?
Yeah.
That was really good.
I enjoyed that, yeah. Even though from the sounds of it, you can do what the fuck you want, and apart from a line of dialogue going, "You naughty boy," or "You naughty girl," and then they just carry on as normal.
At the end, the final mission, I couldn't get through like without sneaking. So with sneaking, rather, my stealth wasn't good enough. I just had to go guns blazing. And all that happens is the leader guy goes, "I thought we told you no dead bodies," and you're like, "Sorry."
Yeah. Well, I had that no dead bodies thing, but I was thinking, technically speaking, I didn't kill anyone. I used my powers to make them kill each other. So fuck you. They murdered each other. I had nothing to do with it. Yeah. So there you go. Is there anything you'd like to plug, guys? Twitter?
No, don't think so.
Twitch? YouTube?
My Twitter and my Twitch, which are both Cumberdanes. Twitch TV/Cumberdanes or @Cumberdanes on Twitter.
Blue Sky? YouTube?
Cumberdanes on Xbox Live and PSN, I guess.
OnlyFans?
Hey, we keep that one a secret.
Mock it till you've tried it.
Well, there you go then. That's going to be us for this episode. We will be back in a fortnight with another game of some kind. And if you listen to Pugsley Crew reviews, that'll be in a week. I'm not sure what film we're going to be doing for that. It's either going to be Raw or Zombievers. I'm not sure what game we're going to be doing. It's either going to be a game or another game. So there you go. Bye-bye, everyone.
Or another game. Bye.
Cheers.